Hey guys, this is AgentMindStorm, and today I want to discuss something that I think is really important, and that is what will still matter after the update Aquatic. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean what in the update Aquatic is going to have a long-term impact on the game. Because, for example, seagrass. Seagrass is nice, it adds a lot to the oceans, but it doesn't really do anything. It's just there. It probably, in a few updates, we won't even think about seagrass. It'll just be a thing that exists. So today, I want to discuss what will still matter in a few updates. Like at 1.20, will seagrass matter? Probably not. At 1.20, what will matter, though, that's what we're going to discuss in this video. So let's get started. The first thing that will definitely matter after Update Aquatic is floating items. Now, this might be a little bit of a weird one, but let me explain. For example, in a system where you need to transport items upward, there was no good way to do it before other than using the glitchy item glass elevator or using a dropper elevator, both of which were not the best solutions. But now they've added a way to do it all automatically. You just put a pillar of water and items go up in it. It's a really, really easy way to make water elevators, and it also means that if you die in the ocean, your stuff will not be at the bottom. It'll all just float to the top. So if you die in an ocean monument from a guardian, you won't have to worry about losing all your stuff unless you died in the inside. Then you're really screwed. But if you died on the outside, then it'll all float back up to the surface of the ocean, and you'll see it, so you won't have to drown again and just try to get it back. It's a really simple feature, but it'll also add a lot to the game long term. Something that will definitely have a much longer term effect than just floating items is bubble columns, specifically soul sand, but magma is also important too. Now, the soul sand ones are amazing because they let you transport stuff upward at a really high speed, so you don't have to worry about it drowning for one, and you don't have to worry about them drowning because bubble columns give you air. So this means that really deep underwater, you can place a magma block and get air. Now, before you would just place a torch, but they changed how oxygen mechanics work, so you actually have to stay out of water for a little while to get all your bubbles back. But basically, they let you get all your air back underwater still, and they let you move really fast in two different directions underwater. So, for example, you can create something that shoots a creeper up into the sky 100 blocks, and you don't need any redstone at all. That would be such a late game thing. You can create early game super elevators from the bedrock of the world all the way up to 256 if you want to. And then also there's the fact that magma bubbles will pull you down, so you can kind of create traps. I'm not such a big fan of creating traps for people, but the soul sand pushing you upwards, it's faster, or at least it's as fast as the fastest redstone elevator, which other than a TNT cannon, the fastest redstone elevator is a slime block one that I have built in my world. I'll definitely be replacing it with a soul sand one, though, when that comes along and gets added to the game. Something else that might seem obvious, but for some people it wouldn't be, is the Trident. The Trident adds a lot because it's a different speed of attack than the sword, which means that it adds different attack strategies for people to use and learn. And that's one big thing. Now, of course, people are going to hate that because it's 1.9 mechanics, but I personally like 1.9 mechanics. Just my opinion, though. Please don't kill me. It will add more depth to the combat, but then it'll also do a lot of other things that you might not expect. For example, if you put the Channeling enchantment, which is a new treasure enchantment along with Frostwalker and Mending, if you put the Channeling enchantment on a Trident and you throw it, it'll strike lightning. So that means that you can now create charged creepers. They're not a super rare ultra occurrence that you'll never find yourself. You'll be able to cause charged creepers, so you'll get mob heads in survival. Now, those don't have much of an impact, but charged creepers themselves do. Then, there's also the fact that using Riptide 3 with an Elytra is the coolest thing ever. You don't even need an Elytra when it's raining, though, because when it's raining, you can just fly with the Trident. So it's pretty much like a poor man's Elytra, I guess. If you're earlier game, you haven't been to the end yet, but you still want to fly, you can use the Trident. The only problem is you seem to always die when you hit the ground, which is useful for something else we're going to talk about, but it is a good thing to note that you shouldn't probably use the Riptide 3 flying without an Elytra, because you will likely die. Luckily for you, this update added a great way to not die that's going to impact the game long term. Slow falling potions. Slow falling potions are great because first off, they negate all fall damage. So if you're using the Trident and with Riptide 3 and you're worried you're going to die in survival, get yourself a slow falling potion. You're not going to die anymore. You are literally able to do whatever you want with the Trident and Riptide 3 if you have slow falling. But then there's also the fact that it's kind of like the Elytra, but just a lot less overpowered, I guess. It just kind of lets you glide a little without anything. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. And slow falling plus Riptide plus the Elytra is just about the most overpowered thing ever, and I'm assuming that they're gonna nerf slow falling with the Elytra because you can literally fly infinitely. Pretty sure that's a glitch, but I mean, I'm not 100%. Maybe they're gonna leave it overpowered. I really doubt it, though. I think they're gonna make it so that slow falling doesn't work with the Elytra, but that's beside the point. Slow falling potions are a thing now. They make you fall slow, and they stop all fall damage. It's totally amazing. Slow falling, however, is not the only potion that they added in this update. They added something called the Potion of the Turtle Master. Now, as ridiculous as the name is, it's one of the craziest potions I've seen because it's a trade-off potion. Most potions are just like, they make you stronger or they make you faster, but this one has a trade-off. It makes you invincible if you use the higher variant, at least. It literally makes you invincible. However, you basically can't move unless you're jumping, and your field of view is super destroyed. So it looks like this, and it's the most ridiculous looking thing, but it makes you invincible. So that means, literally, even the Void cannot kill you. Resistance 5 is enough to make you invincible, and this gives you Resistance 6. It's very much overkill. They might nerf it, but they haven't yet, so that's making me think that they're actually going to keep it this way, which is good. We want something like this in the game. It's a great trade-off, and especially for, like, killing the Wither in an enclosed chamber, it would be really interesting, because you couldn't move, but you can hit. And it adds a lot to combat, just like a lot of things in this update actually add a variety to the combat, like slow falling and the Trident, and I think all of that's really good, especially Turtle Master, though. Now, it's weird that they didn't add this as a separate effect, but I think it's more interesting, actually, that it's two separate effects. Now, the next thing is Underwater Treasure. This is not as big as some of the other things like the Bubble Columns or the Trident, but it's still important. And that's because it changes the progression tree a little. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you can find iron, gold, and diamonds in these, and sometimes they're not even that deep. Sometimes they're just on beaches. Now, of course, you'd need some serious luck to find one of these by yourself, but once you get a treasure map, which can be gotten from shipwrecks, which, by the way, some shipwrecks do generate on beaches, so you can get an above-water shipwreck, never even have to go underwater, and get yourself a treasure chest, and this treasure chest is full of iron, and sometimes diamonds, so you'll never even have to go deeper than, like, 70, so you never even have to go into a cave to get iron stuff, like a full iron set, too. They have so much iron in these treasure chests, and then you can probably get, like, at least a diamond sword or pickaxe from some of these, too, so it's really, really good. And it definitely changes the progression tree because you no longer have to go mining. It's really big. I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. Something that's definitely not aquatic, but is definitely also in this update, is the map markers. This is completely separate from the whole aquatic theme. However, they add a whole lot to the whole game in general, because they let you put markers on maps. You just put a banner down and you click it with the map, or select it, whatever, tap on it, whatever platform you're on. You select the banner while you're holding a map, and then it puts that on the map as a little shape. Now, wherever you go, that will always stay on there. But even better, if you name the banner and then click it, you'll see the name of the banner on the map, which means that you can name locations and then never lose them. So say you find a mob spawner way far away from your house, name it mob, make a banner, name it mob spawner, place it down, mark it on your map, and then you'll always have it with you. It's a really good way to mark stuff, especially major things like your base, because your base doesn't always show the best on large maps, like it's just a few pixels sometimes, and marking it with something like base on a huge banner is way, way cooler. I love that feature. It's so small, but it's definitely going to change the game. The last confirmed thing on the list, at least so far, there might be something else, like they might do something crazy with Hearts of the Sea and Nautilus shells, but for now, the last thing that we know are fish as mobs. Now, this is kind of on the fence because most of the aquatic underwater stuff you're not going to see, because you're probably not going to spend that much time underwater, to be honest. Most of the game is still above water, even though they added a load of underwater content. But the fish as mobs kind of stick out, because you can kill them in only 3 punches, which means that they're a super weak mob, and you get a bone and a fish. At least on the Bedrock edition, you get a bone. I assume they're going to update that to the Java edition too, but you get a bone and a fish of the type that you killed every single time you kill one, and they only take 3 punches. So that means that it's super easy to get food now without a fishing rod or farms or anything. The easiest way to do it before was to like kill cows, but now you can swim underwater. Literally, sometimes you spawn on the beach. So you just jump in the water, you kill some fish, and boom, you've got food already. They're so useful for like getting food and stuff. Maybe not the tropical fish so much, but the normal fish and the salmon are definitely great. And also, it'll be way easier to make potions of water breathing, because you just go to a warm ocean, you kill a few pufferfish, and then boom, you can get some water breathing potions, which are going to be essential if you want to explore the rest of the update. I do want to mention one more thing here, which is the sea pickles. Now, they haven't actually confirmed if this is going to be added. However, on Reddit, Helen Angel, who is one of the people who, like, community managers, saw this post, which was sea pickles light up in the rain. She replied to it with, cool idea, I'll send it to the team, something like that. I didn't write it down exactly, but basically, she came back and said that there's no technical way to do it. However, I think there is, it's just it would take a bit of coding. So the reason is, if they do end up adding this feature, which is sea pickles lighting up in the rain, then we could make a weather detector, because we could either use a daylight sensor or an observer to detect when the change in the sea pickle happens, like either it makes more light and then it lights up the daylight sensor, or it just changes the block state and the observer sees that. And it would definitely be great, because then whenever it's raining, you can make a weather sensor to, like, I don't know, do something funny, like maybe shoot off a firework, I don't know. Let yourself go wild, but making a weather sensor is a big redstone mechanic. There's no real way to test except having a fire on netherrack that you have a dispenser pointing into, an observer, but then you have to relight it, and it's sea pickles lighting up in the rain would definitely be a big change. However, it's not confirmed yet, so that one's kind of a maybe. So those are all the big things from Update Aquatic that are definitely going to impact the game and still keep impacting it a few years away. Tell me in the comments if you think there was something that I missed or something that I did miss. And then, of course, keep in mind that this was made April 9th, 2018, or at least that's when I'm recording this. So if they added something after this, like the Hearts of the Sea and Nautilus shells, that do something that's not on this list that is major, then that is my fault, because I choose to record this in the middle of their snapshot instead of when the update comes out. So this is something I kind of want to turn into a series as well. I'll have a poll in the top corner right now, and that is, should I make this a series of what features actually changed in Update? Because I want to know if you guys think this would be something I should do more. But anyways, that is the end of this video, so for now, I do want to tell you all, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.